Well, hey, good morning, everybody. My name is Jared. This is Justice's Waiting Room, a daily live podcast where we discuss news and politics. And for those of you that wake up every single day and wonder when this is going to stop, and I'm talking about this show, oh, you are poorly mistaken. And also, where are the fucking Epstein files? Yeah, we're gonna base our content. You see people that are following me, by the way. Aaron Parnas, start doing the same fucking thing I'm doing. Understand that I've been doing that for longer. hmm Where I've said it is massive government overreach and corruption for them to agree to produce the Epstein files and fail to do so. So those days are coming. We're about a week away. So everybody wondering, uh, what do we have to look forward to? Well, we're a couple days from the Rockland lawsuit starting, and also, I mean, it's really coming down on Donald Trump hard. Rockland lawsuit starts in the next week. As the 29th, I believe, the Epstein files are to be produced. And so until they are produced in full, unredacted, every single day we're going to ask, where are the Epstein files? And you'll notice other creators, other political creators, are starting to be like, wait, where the fuck are the Epstein files? It's starting to happen for other people. What has been happening for us? We've been on that tip. Where the fuck are the Epstein files? Right. So good to see powerful journalists following our lead. Absolutely. It is important. It is very important to understand whether you like him or not. And if you like him, that's a deep personal issue. The President of the United States, his wives, he used his wives. He used his own children with his best friend and his best friend's wife for more than 20 years, ran an international organized crime ring. And the reason I stopped saying the S word and talking about SA is because while that's awful, right? It's awful. It was more than basically what I'm getting at. It's more. It was more than just SA. One of the things that has to be said. Oh, I changed my name. By the way, I changed my name on TikTok. Once the powers that be, once the White House joined TikTok, and I was like, oh yeah, they're gonna get destroyed on TikTok, and they'll end up leaving TikTok. I was like, oh, TikTok's gonna get banned. It's about to get super toxic. I'm not putting my full throated name on my account. So yeah, if you've noticed anything, my shit says likely alien. Um, no sense in. Might as well make them do some work, right? Not that it would take much to figure that out. But it's better than just handing it to them, right? So good morning, Bobby, Angie, Bob, Debs, and Kara. So got about 20 people in here already. So hey, you know how we do. Okay, control what you can control. 8 hours of sleep at night. Actually, science just came out and said 9 hours is optimal. Hey, listen, listen. I I got on the 8 hours thing a long fucking time ago. If you ever wondered how does that person always have such a rosy disposition, it starts with 8 hours of fucking sleep at night, kids. It might be nine. And you know, my wife is a big 9, 10 hour sleeper. Okay? We sleep in this fucking house. and then you gotta drink water. You know, I like everyone else. My wife and I, we make our own coffee in the morning and have for years because we learned how to make coffee, right? And largely, you just gotta either buy whole bean and grind it up yourself. And if you don't feel like doing that, you just gotta buy good coffee. And you don't want to buy very much because when it's already ground up, it's gonna get bitter fast because all of the fun part of coffee happens when you grind the bean, right? And then you run, you should, I don't know if anybody knows this, but when you make coffee, what you do is you grind up coffee beans into like a powder, and then you can pour your coffee, your hot water. It's called a pour over your coffee. It'll taste a lot better. It'll be a little frothy. Um, but yeah, you can actually make your own coffee. So what we do is we just like push a button, right? That's where we are. It heats the water up for you, and then it slow drips it over your little pile of coffee grounds. You guys know that, right? That's how coffee works. Okay. I have been saying this forever. Here. You guys want to talk coffee? Coffee's a hot topic. Okay. I see what I did there. Okay. Um, Good morning. It's Friday, 5 o'clock, and I am out. So I work 12 noon to 9 p.m. with a 1 hour lunch. Um, Percolator. Yeah. So first of all, coffee is fucking amazing. If you have not experienced the joy of daily coffee your whole life, well, you've just missed out. I have been a daily coffee drinker since I was about 16 years old. I worked at Steak and Shake. I worked weekends in the morning, and so I'd make people's meals and shakes and brewed a lot of coffee. Um, First of all, you got to get away from white filters. So there's going to be people that are like, "Can I buy a $20 coffee maker and make good coffee?" Yes, that's what we do. And we blow through those. When it stops when it stops super when it hold on. When it overheats your coffee or it no longer makes your coffee hot enough, throw it away and get a new coffee maker. Don't spend very much on a coffee maker because you're putting water on an electrical device, which it's gonna increase the rate of corrosion on the device. You're gonna have to spend time cleaning it and shit. And I'm telling you, as a grown ass man with a full time job and dogs and shit, you're gonna realize I don't even have time to clean my coffee machine. Don't spend very much on one and fucking get a new one. When that shit's dirty and clunky and old and shit, replace it. Stop fucking drinking shitty coffee because your coffee maker's trash. So it probably starts there. And you don't have to spend $1 million on a fucking coffee maker. And if you do, you have just been lied to. Okay? You need, and in no particular order, a heating device that consistently heats your coffee to the desired temperature. A lot of people forget about this. And eventually they're just like, oh, coffee's hot. And it's like, that's not even good coffee. Like, if it's over 159.6 degrees, I think it's overheated. And it's going to taste like shit. So much Bible. You're welcome. I went to Oregon. My wife and I spent a week out of state on our own dime. Actually, it wasn't on our own dime, it was on an investor's dime to learn how to make coffee. Okay? So, you you generally just need a consistent heating device, and then you need a pot that you can easily clean. And that's the problem that I've had my whole life everywhere I've ever gone. And I'm like, let's look at the coffee situation, is they got some trash ass coffee maker, and then holy fuck the coffee pot. Am I wrong? Tell me I'm fucking wrong. Okay? So my advice, if we're gonna shit and bullshit about coffee, is it starts with your coffee maker. Keep it simple, stupid. It's really about the burner, and it's about the pot itself. And most people, they get like these cool looking coffee makers, and the coffee pot is oddly shaped, and so it's harder to clean, and as a result it doesn't get cleaned. Hey, Keep it simple, stupid. You want an object you can touch every part of easily with your fingers, and that'll make it easier to clean and take care of. That'll make your coffee taste better, okay? Now, once you put that coffee maker in an area where it's not touching anything, it's going to get hot. One of the things I've seen everywhere I fucking go is that people store uh, breakfast bread items right next to the coffee maker, like your bagels. And then what I'll notice, because I'm a risk manager, as that's what when I was on active duty in the Marine Corps, everybody thinks it's all about shooty shooty bang bang, but what it's really about is keeping everyone alive. Yeah. So what you do is you assess risk. So the one thing I would say to someone is keep your fucking coffee maker, that hot ass fucking electric device, keep it away from other shit. You want to know why your coffee tastes like shit? I don't know, because it smells like plastic in here because you put fucking the bagel bag too close to your coffee maker. You're a fucking moron. Do you get what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. So there's 22 people here. Good morning. We're talking about coffee at length. So you probably need a new coffee maker. Is the gist of the thing. If you're not making your coffee at home, if you're drinking instant coffee, we are not friends. Did you see my eyes? I didn't. My eyes didn't twitch. Ain't no shit. I ain't friends with nobody who drinks fucking instant coffee. Good to go. If you don't have time to brew a cup of coffee, I don't have time for you. Good to go. That means because you don't care about you. That's the problem. Aaron Parnas drinks instant coffee. I could change that poor person's life. It takes less than 5 minutes to brew a cup of coffee. What the fuck is wrong with you? Okay? So, now you know that you need, because it's about the smell of coffee too. So that's part of the reason I have that bit about the keep the plastic bag away from the burner too, you dumbass. Is it really has happened before. If you ain't ever smelled plastic burning in a break room, then you've probably never worked. So, tell me I'm wrong. Uh, so, once you square away your coffee maker, it's the filter. The thing you lay down and then you put the coffee grounds in it. Get away from those chalk white filters. You heard me say it. The white filters, the white filters are dyed. Nothing looks like that unless you do something to it. You want the brown filter, the natural filter that doesn't have any dye in it. I'm trying to improve your cup of joe. I'm doing this shit for free. My God, the value of the words coming out of my mouth right now. This might be the most game I've ever dropped at once. You understand what I'm saying? When I'm talking about like unfucking your cup of coffee, square away your coffee maker, okay? Keep shit away from it. It is about aura, okay? Get away from the fucking white filter. Go to the natural filter, okay? And then you got options, but you got to understand some shit. First of all, stop buying flavored coffee beans and coffee grounds. You need to make a regular cup of joe, and you got to know where to go from there. Okay? You're not being fair to yourself by this has fucking graham crackers and shit. Shut the fuck up and get the goddamn Tim Hortons is what I'm really saying. Get the big red bag. Okay. Somebody said, but I enjoy hazelnut. You can get hazelnut creamer. I'm trying to help your coffee. Okay. So one of the things about being a coffee connoisseur and being like a coffee maker is that coffee, you want it to be drinkable all day. Now you don't want to drink coffee all day. Please do not drink coffee all day. That's how you have a fucking heart attack. Um, but you might want to go back. And here's how you know you made a good cup of coffee. When you find yourself going back and you don't normally do that. Okay? And I'm not normally a repeat offender. Okay? But once you get your coffee maker squared away and you don't need to spend $1 million on one, stop lying to your fucking self. And you get away from the bleached uh, filters. And you understand that, listen to me. Every bag of coffee has a fucking hole in it. Coffee, if you choke it from air, it spoils. Most people try to choke the air off their coffee. That shit will spoil on you. Just letting you know, it's got a hole in it. Your bag's got a breather on it. Your coffee bag has a breather on it. It needs oxygen. Doesn't need too much, just needs oxygen. Okay? So don't forget that. You don't roll the bag over the breather. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you should not be the one making coffee. I can't find the breather. Right? It's on every bag. Okay? You want to make sure the breather is not clogged. So every now and then you want to flick the breather so get the little coffee off it so it'll pull oxygen into the bag and breathe, let that coffee fucking breathe, bro. Okay? Now, if you are buying ground coffee beans and you don't live but a stone's throw away from where you get your coffee, my advice is to buy regular small amounts of coffee. Why? Because you don't want to drink a 2 week old bag of coffee. That's why your coffee tastes like shit, because we are commoditized. Is that even a word? We have basically made coffee into a budget. Like, how do I buy as much as possible? And that's not how it works. You want either whole bean coffee once a week, or you're gonna have to buy coffee twice a week ground. That's just how it works. And if you're not buying coffee once a week and replacing it, you are drinking boo boo coffee. 9 fucking days. You saw me say it. If you drink ground coffee beans that you've had for 9 days, you're a dumbass. You're actively putting boo boo in your mouth hole. Stop that shit. It don't cost. It's still coffee. Still don't cost that much. It still doesn't cost that much. People are talking about buying coffee in shops. Fuck that. Make it at home. Make it much cheaper. Do you know that this this costs 10 cents? Did you know that? Yeah. Yeah. So I've never ever 2 days in a row drank Starbucks. No, fam. Make your own coffee. What the fuck are you talking about? And if you want to be fancy, you can learn to pour over. You can make yourself espresso. You could do that. It's not hard. It just takes a few minutes. And the one thing I won't accept is I don't have time. You don't have time because you have poor time management and you don't want to talk about time management. Nobody does. Nobody wants to talk about the monster in the room. Fucking time management. hmm So that's why your coffee sucks. We should have started with time management. Obviously, I think coffee is the greatest thing ever. Why? I have been dead to the world and come back because of a good cup of Joe. I have had many fucking days. Zeke said, if I can just make my own mocha frappe caramel like McD, I will be happy. Well, I think what you like is that it has whipped cream on top and a little bit of chocolate and caramel drizzle, right? So you could do that. You could implicate that, or you could replicate that. And then as far as the coffee, like the flavor that you're getting, what I would advise you to do is become a scientist. Take the topping off one time, like buy two, do some science. Take all that coffee off, or the frosting, the fucking whipped topping off, and then taste the drink. What does it taste like? What are you trying to replicate, right? Because if it's just like regular coffee and creamer under whipped cream with some chocolate and caramel syrup on it, you could just do that. Now, if there's something going, oh, decaf, you could brew decaf. That's not a big deal. You need to up your decaf game, though. That's the thing I never understood about decaf drinkers. Decaf drinkers, you guys have just as high quality of beans available to you. Hmm. Just as high quality coffee. Hmm. I don't know why you're drinking decaf though. That's wild. You're like one of those 1% of people that just can't handle the full strength. Hmm. It's not for everybody. Okay? It's not for everybody. And you know who makes a banging ass cup of coffee is your Latin friends. Hmm. They make some strong shit. Hmm. That Mexican espresso I had. You could only get it in a little 3 ounce cup on the little resort I stayed at when I was down there in Cancun. Yeah, you don't like my heart racing. I've never had my heart racing. It's wild. And I blow helly trees. So for me, it's like because I blow trees, coffee is like the perfect balance, right? Where I'm not like, you know what I mean? Like I'm still awake, aware, and alive. You know, I might just be have generally a little rosier of a disposition on the whole. Um, by the way, I don't know that we talked about this, but I had another person that's a fan of the show call in and do business. Um, and so if we have, I have never asked for referrals, but I would much rather work with people that I've done business with and the people they care about. So don't be afraid to refer people to me. And that's about as far as it goes. So I haven't asked for money since our furnace fucking blew up. Uh, and I don't run ads or anything. So that would be the only thing I'd ever ask. Is especially if we do business. I've never asked for reviews, but somebody shared with me like an email they send after they help someone, and I'm gonna make my own and send it out. So because it's like yesterday, I went 2 for 2. I had two veterans back to back. And then I didn't get another call the rest of the day. And I'm like, I'm one of the best in the business, and it's like clearly like they can't even get people to me, right? Like I clearly I need to get D. So I work in finance. Um, my primary role is to keep people from declaring bankruptcy. It's a sham. I hate it. I hate the word. I wish people would stop fucking doing it. 99.9% of the people I talk to do not need to declare bankruptcy. What they need to do is take a hard look at their finances and understand that your whole goal, I don't know if you figured this out, but the whole goal of working is to pay your bills, like pay your bills, and then save money because you are going to have an accident and you're going to want to retire one day and not fucking work. And if you wanted to know, hey Jared, how much money do I need to retire? Well, do you want the bullshit answer or do you want the real answer? Because the real answer is $4 million. You're welcome. And that is so that you can collect six figures in interest a year and live comfortably as a retiree. Will any of us get there? Probably fucking not. But it's a good goal. I think it's a damn good goal. I mean, I outlined it for you. Mm-hmm. Kay Heron said Epstein. Yeah, we started the show talking about the Epstein files. I made my first piece of content today, and we talked about that already. Yep, we were talking about coffee. But yeah, I work. So people that call me have put in for debt relief or debt consolidation, or they're looking for a loan. They can't keep doing what they're doing. They can't sleep at night. They're driving themselves crazy. How am I going to keep paying all these bills? Most of the people I talk to, their credit cards are maxed out. They've taken personal loans. You know what I'm finding out lately is most of the people I talk to have already gone down the other path where they took a debt consolidation loan. And I'll just tell you, one of my classes in college involved going to my local bank and asking to view information like data and pull data from a bank. And I went to my PNC bank and I said, "How's your debt consolidation program going? Your consolidation loan program going?" And they shared with me a little data sheet. 29%. Yep. 29% of the time it works. And that means that it fails 71% of the time. And I'm talking about a debt consolidation loan. So, credit counseling, credit repair, those are scams. Bankruptcy's a sham. It's fucking awful. Like, did you know that there are two types of bankruptcies and one of them involves you selling off your fucking assets? How about no? Nope. But here's the problem. The problem is that my program requires people to stop doing what they're doing and change their behavior. And that's really hard to get people to do. People are just, we are just who we are. This is what we do. And there are 1% of people that are like, I borrowed this money, I should pay it all back. And if that means that, 25,000 is 100 grand in 20 years of my life, then so be it. And you're like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever fucking heard. You just said you want to retire. I cannot believe I'm sitting here. This is bananas. Except I do it professionally and there are people that like, oh, I don't want to do this. Okay, dumbass. Yeah. So the reality is if you're paying money on interest every month and you're not able to save, you're fucked up. Yep. And most of the people I talk to, when I get done with their budget, and I'm like, all right, here's your Purdue math. So after you pay all your bills, 99% of the people I talk to have less than $2,000 left over. And then I just straight up tell them if they have less than 2 grand left over. So I'm guessing with the rising cost of living every month, you are unable to save. And they're like, how did you know that? And I'm like, well, it says you're at 1933 after you pay your bills, and the rule of thumb is anytime you have less than $2,000 left over after it's all said and done, the rising cost of living is gonna eat that other 2 grand, and they're just like, oh fuck, ain't that the truth? And I'm like, oh, it's just true. And people lie about everything. They mostly lie about what they spend on food. If my wife and I, this is how expensive it is right now. My wife and I, if we eat out twice a week and we get Factor, okay, to limit our food costs during the week to $150 for like lunch during the week. That's all we spend. Okay? We buy coffee and coffee creamer. We have Factor meals and we eat out twice a week. Hey, that's $1,000 a month, and now there's only two of us. And I ain't talking about dog food. So how much are you spending on food? Know that I know this. We started doing Factor meals to cut our grocery bills in half. We cut our bill in half by switching to Factor. So because we were paying about $300 a week on groceries, so we were spending like 2 grand on food a month, like 1945, before we switched to Factor, and that cut our food cost considerably. But because it costs more money to eat out, um, if you eat out twice a week, you're spending $1,000 a month on food, and there's no way you're getting around that. And everyone I talk to lies. Every single person's like, oh, 300-400 bucks, and I'm like, you're full of shit. That is not, yeah, Factor meals. Yeah, so it's a full meal. So think of it like a microwave dinner prepared by chef. Like so I choose the high protein option. So typically I'm eating like a massive chicken breast and like some vegetables, and they don't salt their food. So it's super healthy. In fact, I make it less healthy because I shake it just to give it a little bit of flavor. Which, for the record, completely changed Factor meals for me forever. Was plate your food, taste it, and you're like, it's kind of bland. A little bit of salt, you're fucking yeah. And you can pick what they send you. Oh yeah, I'm big. Uh, green beans and zucchini and what's the shoots? Can't remember. But yeah, so I'm usually eating like a greens and a nice chicken breast, and it takes like 2 to 5 minutes to make in the microwave. Hmm. Drop it off at your house. You don't have to go to the grocery store and try to shop and all that shit. Fuck all that shit. Mm-mm. That's lunch. That's lunch every day. And if the weather's bad and I don't feel like leaving or ordering food, my wife is one of those people that she's empathetic to the fucking DoorDash driver, and she's like, Jared, the weather's too bad. We can't order food, right? So if that's the case, just eat a Factor meal. Hmm? And so if you're not on that tip, I buy the groceries in my house, and we don't shop at Wally World, so I'm going to Meyer, pushing that. My big ass is pushing that cart around the grocery store, and I'm telling you right the fuck now, if you can get out of a grocery store under $200, okay. If you can do that, okay. And how long does that food last, right? Because if you're trying to eat healthy and you're buying like good food, why? What I think about this. The older I get and the more healthy I eat, the more I'm looking for greens. And it's like, why am I going to the grocery store to buy greens? Like, the fuck? Yeah, my wife will shut me the fuck down. You ain't ordering fucking food, Jared. It's a tornado. And you're just like, I don't think that's how that works, but and in my head, grow your greens. That's exactly what I was saying. Is like the older I get, I'm like, and then I see composition, right? Like what people grow in their gardens, and it's like they mostly grow shit that's easy to grow, not shit that they eat. And it's just like this is fucking stupid. Like when I watch other people pick shit out of their garden, I'm like, you ain't gonna eat all that. Like that's all going bad. Like I want to get into eat out most days. Yeah, I gotta stop that. Yeah, gotta stop eating out. Factors great. It's healthy for you. It'll be in your house. Yeah, it's very expensive. Yeah, yeah. And I feel like I get taken advantage of when I go out. I gotta go to. I'm one of those people. I gotta go to the same place consistently. Because I gotta feel. Is this place charging me an arm and a leg, or am I getting a good deal? Put too much in my garden. The corn did produce a healthy cob. Lesson learned. Did not produce. No, corn is one of the first foods that you would get rid of. If you had to start a civilization over, you wouldn't grow corn. Or you would only grow it for fuel. Hmm. The corn destroys your soil. The reason is very obvious. You see how big that corn plant is? It's huge. You see what it derived? Very little. So if you think about it, it's not worth that big ass fucking plant producing this little bitty fucking corn. Nah, that's not worth. Not worth. And it steals sunshine from other shit that would grow better. Hmm. So yeah, I work in finance, and keep in mind I'm talking to you shit that I can never say to a client, right? Talking about your food costs and stuff. Sweet, that's cool, Zeke. What I learned when I've when I've grown stuff in the past is like we need to be growing like tomatoes, onions, potatoes, peppers, things that you'll eat every day, and people like don't grow that. You know, oh, taters are hard to grow or onions are hard to grow, and it's like, why are you growing squash? Like, what the fuck? Hey, you ain't building a cornucopia, dog. Like, you're trying to feed your fucking self. It's not sexy. Mm-mm. And the thing about it is, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, I should just do that myself and just get this yard tilled up and just start planting tomatoes and onions and taters and things you'll actually eat. Because let's just be real. Let's just be real. I'm gonna eat burgers till the day I die. I have baby bunnies in my one container of potatoes. Well, glad to see everybody. We've got about 30 people in here, and y'all know how I work. Anytime I recognize that I have anybody watching me, it's hey, get 8 or 9 hours of sleep a night, drink water, eat right, exercise. All right. First things first, let's talk about this funeral home owner to be sentenced for stashing 190 decaying bodies in rural Colorado. Colorado, come on down. All right, all my friends from Colorado enjoy. John Halford and his wife Carrie ran a morbid racket for 4 years. Their funeral home was called Return to Nature. To the surprise of no one, they have confirmed a famine in Gaza. And this is a UN backed firm. Okay. Oh, wow. Hey, listen to me. Now, I get it, I work from home, I don't ever leave my house. Wear a fucking mask. Wear a fucking mask. I have not seen this shit since I was reading books in fucking elementary, middle school. So with COVID, they are worried about immunity debt. And what this means to the lay person doesn't understand medical terminology. Immunity debt means when you get COVID and you've like got you survived COVID, it lowers your immunity to disease. It makes you more susceptible uh, to disease. It lowers your immunity to other. Goddamn. Goddamn. Mycoplasma pneumonia is a bacterial infection not known to cause widespread hospital admissions. I can count on my two hands the number of times I'd ever seen Mycoplasma pneumonia before 2023, says Samira Jaime, clinical immunologist at the University of Western Ontario. All of a sudden, everyone has it. SARS-CoV-2 is linked to an unusually high level of indiscriminate killing of T cells. Reactivation of dormant viruses. Yeah. Jesus Christ. Long COVID is the elephant in the room. My wife has long COVID. That's why she sleeps. Huh. Lil Nas X, huh? That's one. Hey, that's one. That's one way to hype up an album. I mean, he's on AP. He was jailed on suspicion of charging at a police station on LA Street where he walked nearly naked. Oh, look. Alligator Alcatraz will be shut down in 2 months. So remember how they tried to put people in concentration camps and how that shit will be ceasing fucking operations in the next 2 months. No new detainees can be admitted. I feel like this is good news, but Eric Menendez was denied parole. Is the Menendez brothers the ones that killed their parents? Is that what the Menendez brothers did? Okay. Hmm. There's an attack on a police helicopter and explosion near an airbase that left 14 dead in Colombia, the country. Hey, man, it's almost like everybody that did anything wrong is getting fucking ratted on. That's what it feels like right now. Not that I have a problem with this. Justice is hilarious. We called this shit Justice's waiting room, and I sit in here every day and I'm like, oh, look, this fucking billionaire CEO unalived. Oh, look. Oh, oh, look, this person in a position of power got fucking exposed for being a terrible human being, and their life is basically over. The Pueblo County coroner was accused of hiding bodies in a secret room at his privately owned. 6 bodies recovered from a Colorado dairy. I don't know what the fuck is going on in Colorado. Holy shit. These are AP stories from today. What the fuck happened in Colorado like yesterday? It was a crazy day in Colorado. 6 people are found dead at a Colorado dairy. Authorities suspect an accident involving gas exposure. As someone who grew up in the Midwest and who has smelled cow farts, yep, that tracks. Hey, remember that I told you capitalism destroys everything? Cisco announced like record profits recently, right? They're doing better than ever and announced massive layoffs. Yep, that's right. That's right. Another round of layoffs. Another 220 positions. $14.7 billion in revenue, but you need to dump bodies, huh? Interesting. Kara said there are a lot of crazies in Colorado. Yeah, yeah. Uh, Jade Demerel, 32, died of blunt trauma injuries after falling from 15,500 feet. Where? England. Apparently, she did it on purpose. It's a long way of saying a suicide, but whatever. And then, all right. Yes, my ad blocker's on. Villanova, if you guys recall, there was some asshole running around on Villanova. Lydia asked on TikTok, "Have you heard what's going on at John Bolton's house? Henry the FBI, Henry and FBI raid." Oh, and no. Let's fire up the old Google machine. All right, here. Came out just this morning. Thank you for the tip. Yes, that's what I was gonna say, Kathleen. Villanova was a hoax. Yep. Capitalism doesn't work. Because look what happens when they have their best year ever. They fire a bunch of people who helped them make all that money, and those people aren't going to get shit. And that cycle has repeated my whole life. And you know what happens if you don't do that? Yeah, he had him raided for classified documents. And keep in mind, he's like the former head of the FBI. He doesn't have any of that shit in his house. The fuck are you talking about? It was an abuse of power. Um, yeah, there is an area of Colorado that thought Lauren Boebert was a great choice. Oh man, when I think of Lauren Boebert, she's the Wicked Witch of the West and a sex pest, and that's it. Just rhymes, you know. The Wicked Witch of the West is the one in all black, right? Yeah. Mm-mm-mm. Report of a campus shooter on Villanova was a hoax. Hmm. Oh, a judge ruled yesterday that Alina Habba is unlawfully serving as a U.S. attorney. So I feel like that's a win. Not lawfully serving as a U.S. attorney overseeing federal prosecutions in the state, dealing a blow to efforts by the Trump administration to maneuver its handpicked appointees into active roles at prosecuting offices around the country. This a big blow. Hmm. It's awesome. Wow. Quebec Liquor Board prepares to destroy $300,000 worth of American alcohol. That's a huge win. Yep. If you kind of know what to look for, this regime is going to be pretty easy to navigate. And again, you're just looking for the daily fucking failures that are going to impact outcomes. Alina Kaba, a judge determining that she's serving illegally, absolutely going to have a impact on what Donald Trump's able to do. and he was already sucking ass. Um, Damn. So in Orlando, I guess there's like a the Pulse nightclub memorial, and somebody removed it overnight. Imagine being that gutless hog. Asada Shakur. Oh, I gotta know who that is. You know what I mean? Asada Olugbala Shakur, born Joanne Deborah Byron, also known as Joanne Shezamard, American political activist who is a member of the Black Liberation Army. She was convicted of the murder of State Trooper Werner Forster during a shootout in the New Jersey Turnpike in 73. She escaped from prison in 79, wanted by. Oh, she's still wanted by the FBI with a $1 million FBI. $1 million? Another million by the New Jersey Attorney General. Okay, so she's been charged with a bunch of crime. I'm still wondering, like, what did she do? Interest in communism. Okay. Only a fool lets somebody tell him who his enemy is. In 1967, she was arrested for the first time on charges of trespassing. Students had chained and locked the entrance to a college building to protest the low numbers of black faculty in the Black Studies program. So I can tell you, however you, it's like Tupac's aunt. Um, when I tell you that it's not where you end up, it's where it starts that matters. Um, Her initial arrest was as part of a protest, and so as a fellow member of the Fuck 12 Club, um, let's see. She married Louis Chesimard, a fellow activist at CCNY. They were divorced in 3 years. They had differing views of gender roles. I just want to talk about that for a moment. Okay. Oh, I'm not saying they're a detriment to her character. I'm saying that her first arrest was for protesting, and that automatically makes us homies. Anyway, um, let's talk about gender roles. I'm the man of my house, and I do the dishes, and I sweep and mop the floors, and I take the trash out. I take the dogs for a walk. I feed the animals most of the time. I try to take as much off of my wife's plate as possible because she works a full time job. Now, I work a full time job as well, but I work from home and I make God money. So, my wife doing her little thing, I'm trying to take as much off her plate. She just had to drive to and from somewhere. And so I don't really count her chores, right? I don't give a fuck as long as she's happy. Try to try to make sure she's happy. Now, if she decides to get up and do something and participate in what it takes to make this house cool, I feel no ways. Meaning, we're both we're both just trying to live, right? And man, it'd be a shame if your relationship was based on the effort level that someone gave to keep your house kind of in shape. We would all be alone. None of us would ever be happy. So I'm not surprised that her marriage ended because they couldn't get that right. And I'm not even saying that's what happened. I'm not a capitalist, so I already know what happens. No, it will reshape itself. You see, a lot of people, they say, like, we should boycott all these businesses. Right, but where should we be putting our money? Right? What should we be? We should divest from capitalism. Right, and what do we invest in? Where where do you put your money? Right? So I've told people I would look at foreign markets if you're looking to invest before I'd invest here. Hmm. Now, she graduated from CCNY, moved to Oakland, joined the Black Panther Party, and worked to organize protest and community education programs. After returning to New York City, she led the BPP chapter in Harlem, coordinating the free breakfast program for children. And so, for those of you that don't know, I coached high school inner city football here in Indianapolis, Indiana, and the first thing I noticed is that the kids that I coached were malnourished. I didn't say they were hungry, I said they were eating one or no meals every day. What if I chance you were a billionaire? I would buy foreign land, probably in Canada, and just build abodes. And just, if you need a place to live, it's not in the United States, you're going to have to get here. Here, live. And then do whatever the fuck it is. You know? I founded the American Socialist Party. I want everyone to have universal health care, education, income, and housing. Money does, we still live in a capitalist society where money does drive a lot. And so what I think is that there's gonna have to be like a, how do I say this? There's gonna be have to be something that America does that only America could get away with, and only America could become experts in. And I'm telling you, I'm a class A stoner, and I think that it's MJ. I think we could federally legalize MJ, turn it into a cash crop. The whole fucking country can grow it. Every community should have like a big store where you can like buy that shit. And I think everyone everywhere should be high. Hmm. Yep. And should do things like grow gardens and put up solar panels and get to know your neighbors. Because it's gonna get really hot, and then in other places it's gonna flood, and so in some places the people are gonna die because it's unlivable, and other people they're gonna die because they drown. And so while that's kind of going on, because that is what is going on, there's you sitting in your chair and having a normal life, right? And I just want you to know that somewhere else in the world today, somebody's going to die because of a flood. And somewhere else in the world today, somebody's going to asphyxiate to death because it's too fucking hot outside. Okay? So, what I think is that instead of giving all our money to these billionaires, instead of caping to capitalism, and again, I can't stand this is what we've always done, this is what we'll always do. That's not how progress happens, and people are just afraid of great change. And what I think we should do is get everybody health care that works and doesn't have any cost as fast as possible. Why? Because I work in finance. I talk to people every day and about their finances. And most people, the reason that they're in debt is medically. It's because of their high costs. Whenever something bad happens, their health care doesn't cover all of it. So what did they have to do? They had to get credit cards to pay their medical bills. Does that ring a bell? That's almost everyone I talk to. And the worst part about it is most of the time it has to do with children. We had kids. We had to get a bigger house, a bigger car, right? Like, and this is like completely normal. I don't see this. I don't know if they have a cure for cancer. I don't know that. Because a guy I went to high school with is a nuclear pharmacist who, for the last like 15 years, has been working for the state of California in cancer research. And I'd like to think if he discovered the fucking cure for cancer, he'd have just hit me up and been like, dude, I figured it out. He probably will. His name is Nathan. He's that fucking smart. Nathan Cashin. Don't forget I fucking told you that when he's this one of the most powerful people in the world. Don't forget I fucking told you that. Hmm. Probably a doctor at this point. Yo, wild. Yep. Bougie Mama said we had zero debt until one daughter had jaw surgery. Jaw surgery, right? Like, not even like, and I'm sorry to assume that she wasn't going to die without it, right? It was just, she had surgery on her jaw. 10 grand from nowhere. From out of nowhere. Yeah, I'd like to think my buddy would just tell me. Oh, she couldn't chew. Yeah, and drinking everything through a straw sucks. I hate straws. All right, so where were we? Let's see. Ah, so I fuck with what is this person's name? What do we call her? Asada Shakur. So check this shit out. She left the Black Panther Party disliking the macho behavior of the men and believing that BPP members and leaders lacked knowledge and understanding of African American history. She then joined the Black Liberation Army. Oh wow. And mounted a campaign of guerrilla activities against the U.S. government using such tactics as planting bombs, holding up banks, and murdering drug dealers and police. All right. She got shot in the stomach. Eh. So she's clearly a wild card. We can say that. She's clearly a wild card. But she escaped. Oh, she was in Cuba by 84. So whatever. I mean, she's the kind of person to knock on a motherfucker's door, display a revolver, and demand cash after asking what's the party. What is my view on communism? Oh, I can explain that. I'm not a communist. Why? Because at the height of communism, when you achieve communism, try explaining trickle down economics again to us again and try to sell that again. That's the problem with communism, is that the dumb answer is when you achieve capitalism. Oh, let's just give everyone the same amount of dude. They've tried to sell that bullshit forever. Here's the hard reality of the situation. I just believe everyone deserves a home. I think that our tax dollars should pay us. I think you should get like $500 every Friday just for fucking playing the game. Okay. I think that your healthcare shouldn't have a cost and it should always just work, and that medical personnel, they really just want to solve the problem, right? And they should just do that, and that your healthcare is between you and your fucking healthcare provider and not anyone else. Hmm. Oh, and universal housing, education shouldn't have a cost. Think about what you would have achieved if you didn't have to worry about student loans. Think about what degree would you have if you didn't have to worry about the cost. Now, if I tell you Texas, University of Texas, the University of Virginia, Harvard, and MIT will give you that education, what is your excuse? Your boy is going to enroll at Harvard. There's a reason I bought a Harvard hoodie because I'm the kind of person that I'm not wearing the fucking hoodie unless I'm paying taking classes. Okay? So I want people to have universal health care, education, income, and housing. I believe in those things, right? That's a lot better than trickle down economics, right? Because I think that when you look at communism and look at what is communism trying to achieve, and you read, and it's like, what were they trying to get to? Oh, the redistribution of wealth? You mean trickle down economics? Guess what? Every fucking Republican ever has tried to sell that bullshit. Yeah. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. There are going to be people that are able to amass wealth. I don't think there should be billionaires, but that doesn't mean that there aren't going to be people that are able to amass wealth. It's fucking crazy to say no man should be making good money. That's fucking crazy, bro. I want everybody to win. I want everybody to win so bad that I want you to not have to pay for a house, not have to pay for health care. I want the government to pay you money. I want to make sure your education doesn't have a cost. That way it's not eating into the money that you make so that you could get on my level. Because the bottom line is, I make a fuckload. I am a homeowner and that shit's getting paid off and I will have no debt and that shit's going to happen before I'm 50 years old and you have never met anyone in your life. I've never met anyone in my life that owned their fucking house and had no debt by 50. And that's the goal. And the reason to have like a good goal like that, to be completely debt free by 50, is to say like you don't understand what that cost on me is, what that strain on my relationship was like, right? But because I was able to achieve it and it only took me 50 years, I think everyone should have it. And all I had to do was lose everything, you know? There's a lot of people that are like, eventually they're going to say, like, oh, you don't deserve your disability. And it's like, in order to achieve what I have, you ask, what did it cost? Everything. I lost my best friend. Nope. I think once your business becomes so valuable, it should become a public utility. You'll still make like oodles of money, but if it's a good thing, everyone should have it. I think. Right? Like, I think everyone should have access to water. I think everyone should have access to food. I think everyone should have access to medical care, housing. We've been over that stuff. Um, but yeah, I want to see more people reshape the American dream, right? I think we've never defined it. What is the American dream? The dream, I think, is to own your own land and develop your own land. Now, whether that is into a business or you develop it into something that produces, right? Like, I would never really build a farm. I don't think that that's in my interest, but I'm going to build a garden on my land, right? Yeah, own a home and be debt free. That's the American dream. Yeah, that's what I want for everyone. And I know that the only way you're going to get there is the only way I was able to get here. You see, I'm a disabled veteran. I was in the Marine Corps Infantry 20 years ago. In 6 days, by the way. In 6 days, I joined 25 years ago. 20 years ago. Sorry. No need to oversell it. But I'm not. I have no idea. I fuck the army actually. Every piece of shit I've met since I've come home, every fuck up I've met, every person that has no fucking morals at all, no ethics, no intelligence, no knowledge, nothing, absolutely dick to offer was in the army actually. Hmm. So yeah, I was in the Marine Corps, which is not the fucking army. Hmm. Um, but yeah, in order for me to get free healthcare, right? In order for me to not have to pay for my house, in order, so healthcare, my house, right? In order for me not to get absolutely slaughtered when I bought my house, right? I mean, I paid 1% down. There are people that pay nothing down on a house, okay? And my interest rate on that is like 2.5%. I actually have a clear opportunity because of my service, which I don't think should be required. I don't think I should have to have gone through all the things I went through to not have to pay so much money out of pocket for my fucking health care. I also don't think that I should have to have gone through what I went through to get the GI Bill so that I don't have to get a bunch of student loans and shit. I actually think that I shouldn't have to have gone through all the shit that I went through so that I have disability benefits that covers my mortgage. And I don't feel guilty about it. Oh hell no. They covered up a murder. Hello. My battle buddy was fucking murdered and the Marine Corps covered it up. Not the Marine Corps, but like people in the military covered it up. Okay? So, and I have a really good idea who did it. Corporal West. He's a police officer now. Anyway, um, a little bit of a wild card. I think somebody asked about Asada Shakur. Yeah. Mike said the problem with my garden is I have to give away 3/4 of it because I grow too much. That's awesome. Mike said I was in the Army National Guard, spent my GI Bill, go to college, got a job in research and development in the electronics field, went back to school again and again and again. Yeah, as they send billions to Israel and give them free healthcare. How do you have your mortgage paid with the VA? I'm a disabled veteran, and my mortgage is 1633, and I get a little over $1,700 a month, so I call it a wash. They pay for my wife and I to get our cars washed every month too. If you really want to be technical about what $1,700 a month does, it pays my mortgage, and then there's not even $100 left over, and $80 is about what it costs my wife and I to have the unlimited wash at Mike's Car Wash. So thanks everybody. That's what your tax dollars pay for. Uh huh. Sorry, I wasn't reading. Grove, Wisconsin, two roads meet. There was a bar. Colorado, two roads meet the dispensary. Yeah, I don't know who this Nathan guy is. Red. Yeah, I don't know. Red Flash Men in Black. That's a couple of those. There's dispensaries everywhere in my county. They're giving Walgreens a run for their money. Deb said Walgreens is actually shutting down. Yep, yep. Had that happen to us too. Our Walgreens shut down. I did. I did a hell lot of my life. I spent half that time in school, part time, working full time. Yep. Now I'm 54 after 30 years of research development lecture. Own my own house outright. Plant my garden. That's about it. I might go back to work for something to do. Like it. And I'm sure that you're at 90%. Oh, hey, thanks for your service, D. Um, one thing I learned as I became more disabled. Oh man, is Walgreens going out of business? I think they're downsizing pretty considerably. Yeah, Mike, if you're having success with your garden, you should make gardening content and listen to me. Keep it simple, stupid. The problem that I keep seeing when I look for gardening content is these goddamn engineers out here with no fucking budget and all the know-how. And it's like, yeah, no shit, dumbass. If I didn't have a fucking budget, hell yeah, I'd do all that shit. But it's like, yo, I need to know, how do I start? I need to know, like, can I trust my own soil, or should I be like creating better soil, like buying containers, right? Because from what I've understood, everybody that I've talked to is like, you need to elevate your garden so you aren't breaking your back, right? You want to make sure it's 4 feet off the ground, right? So if that's the case, then you could basically make the soil way better than you have under your feet. At least that's what I was taught. Yeah, please. You make $1 zillion. Because too much of the content I view, people are too far ahead technologically, and nobody's on that level. Everybody's like, I own a fucking duplex. I'm trying to grow a garden on the side yard. You know what I mean? It's like, what can I do in a 4x4? What can I do in a 4x8 space? You know what I mean? We need content like that. Another victim of private equity. Yeah. Everything that ain't think about this. Your CVS, your Walgreens. Hey, as someone who has run other people's businesses and run a business and owned my own business, uh, CVS and Walgreens would have gone out of business with Radio Shack. hmm A long fucking time ago. Because the better version of that already existed. Best Buy, right? The Apple Store, right? There were two things just absolutely crushing Radio Shack: Best Buy and the Apple Store. And then when it comes to um, also Radio Shack's also getting crushed by Fry's and all those other places. But your CVS and your Walgreens, that's a fucking Walmart. That's a Meijer, that's your Target. And so don't blame private equity. Blame Target, Walmart, Meijer, those big department stores that have a pharmacy. They killed your local drugstore. Uh-huh. And understand the reason that it went out of business, the reason that like Walgreens, little drugstores go out of business is because the only thing worth a shit in a fucking Walgreens is their drugs. You don't, all that other shit is bullshit. Look at what else is in fucking Walmart. What are you gonna buy? Like a nice card for somebody? Walgreens. You're gonna buy a card for somebody. You're gonna buy a little knickknack, a little something to drink, maybe like a frozen pizza or a pint of ice cream. That's about it, right? But most of that shit in there is called paper goods, and it's not worth much money. That's what I'm getting at. There isn't a lot of profit hanging around in a fucking Walgreens and CVS. Um, so that's why they're gonna go out of business. Is because there's just not a lot of money in there. That ain't the dope. You know what I mean? That dope's worth a lot of cash, but shit, that dope is probably not what people need anyway. But that's neither here nor there. I'm not a doctor. Mm-mm-mm. So, Mike, you can be the only decent person I met that was in the army. Yeah, overpriced food. Yes, for sure. Don't. As someone who does not shop at Walmart, I also don't do shopping at CVS and Walgreens. And if I can help it, I don't buy it on Amazon. I'd rather just go get it, go find where I can pick it up myself. Remember how we said, like, hey, it's illegal to run $1 million giveaway over an election? Elon Musk will face a lawsuit over that giveaway. Hey, again, this is one of the things I try to tell my clients all day. The cost of goods are rising every day. And if you're not saving money every month, you are not preparing to fight for when it's $10 for a loaf of bread. Don't be fucking surprised. I told you. Told you. Hey, every day, by the way. No, nobody ever asks how I'm doing and how I feel over like the 9 months we've been doing this show. Thanks, Jill. I appreciate that. The Rusted Garden. The problem I've had, so if you were listening to me at all, the problem that I have is too often when I start watching people's gardening content, technologically, they're way too far ahead. And you're just like, yeah, of course, if I had unamount, you know what I mean? Like, I was saying unamount. Jared, when I had unlimited money, oh yeah, I'll lay PVC pipe down and put drill holes in it and make that the base and then lay everything on top of that so I have like a built-in irrigation system that I can build off of my water collection system that I built. And you're just like, yeah, yeah, that would be fucking great, man. I would love to just. Should I start a starter in my house? Like if I'm gonna grow mint, like can I grow that right outside my front door? Do I need to like grow it in a starter in the window first until it actually like sprouts and then I can plant it? And like what things that I plant should I plant like far away from my house? You don't want that anywhere near your house. And like can I plant stuff that I'm gonna eat near my house? Like I was thinking like all your little like your little bitty shits. I don't know what the fuck to call that. Like your mint and your rosemary and all that shit. Like, can you just grow that like right out your front door, or do I need to like move that away from my house? See, those are questions that would be like great to know. And the reality is that somebody said a couple people said, "Hey, how are you doing?" I feel great. I feel great every single day. I wake up, and you got to understand, if you're in the Discord, you know, in the morning before the show, I'm not doom scrolling. I stopped doing all that shit. We got off of Facebook, Threads, IG, WhatsApp, Messenger, and Twitter. We got rid of all that shit months ago. So what I'm allowed to do is first of all, I feel fucking weightless. I don't feel the weight of the world on my shoulders because I did not vote for this, right? And I haven't also let all this shit that's been going on for the last 8 or 9 months. I haven't not addressed it. I have spoke every day about how I feel about it, right? And so for me, I feel fucking awesome. I love my wife and my getting to work from home and have young animals and them not grow up in a fucking kennel 8 hours a fucking day at a minimum uh, is a blessing onto them, right? For me, it's just more work for me to have to take care of six fucking animals. Um, but I say all that to say animals are the best companion. Here's how I know. Uh, I have had a lot of friends in my life that have said, like, you're too much for like every day. Like, I love you, but you're too much for every day. So, what I've had to do most of my adult life is just focus on taking care of myself and caring for myself and know that I'm too much for most people, and most people will just uh, run away from me. I'm too much. So I get a lot of sleep and I play video games and I have this show and our Discord. And again, I've tried to tell people, especially if you're younger than me, you need to join a union. hmm And you need to surround yourself by the people that you care about, that you actually love. And it might not be your family. hmm It might not be people. My dogs are there every day, and they love me no matter what. And I'm not too much for them. I actually am probably too much for them. To be completely honest with you, I smother them. You know what I mean? Um, but they're the best companions because people are not. People people get overwhelmed. People get emotionally wore out. People get stressed out. The first thing that I've noticed, the first quality in people that they are absolutely willing to throw away is their loyalty. They have none. Most people have no concept of loyalty. It doesn't mean anything to them. And that's the first thing to go. hmm So dogs are so much fucking better than people because that's their thing. Their like whole shtick is like, you're my person and I'm here to protect you and like love you and care about you over all the other things, right? No, I don't. I don't think we deserve. We if not for dogs, I don't know that humans make it. How about that? Because we are too much for each other. hmm we got too much shit going on for like another person. Like I watched a video a couple weeks ago, and I was kind of laughing at the comments because it was this woman, young, beautiful black woman, and she made a video, and a lot of the comments were she shouldn't have posted this on the internet, and it was like, nah, nah, fam, I thought it was perfect. She's saying what every person I've ever spent an inordinate amount of time around would say. I love the person that I'm with. I think they're a great person. I think that they love me more than anything in the world, and they do a great job of showing me that every day. And it's enough. And I'm satisfied. I'm satisfied at my job. Um, but the hard reality is, I'm fucking miserable. Why am I miserable? Because I can't speak out. I'll lose my job. I can't speak out. I'll lose friends. I can't speak out and speak up because people are like, "Oh, you're just bitching," right? Hmm. Felt that. The difference is I refuse to fucking live like that. So every day for the last 8 plus 9 plus months, I've gone on here and double birded the fucking president. Like, fuck the president, fuck Donald Trump, fuck all you fascist traitors that fucking voted this piece of shit into office, and you all, every single one of you that supported this man, y'all got blood on your hands. Just know that. And all of you people that are hardcore Democrat and you are hardcore supporting the Democratic Party, you have blood on your hands too. Because this regime has allowed that fucking genocide to happen in Gaza and did not stop the flow of weapons into Gaza. hmm And you can blame Donald Trump for that all you want, but you had 4 fucking years to figure it out and didn't. And by the way, Joseph R. Biden and Kamala Harris and Cory Booker and Hakeem Jeffries are all major recipients of AIPAC money. So if you wondered why there's nothing but silence from the Democratic Party, that's why. 100 elected Democrats get paid a bunch of money by AIPAC. Mm-hmm. Yep, that's why I founded the American Socialist Party and said, I have no desire whatsoever for power. I don't have desire for money. I'm not in it for personal gain, and I'm not in it for power. I want flowers on my fucking grave when I die. That's what I want. I want people to actually mourn my death. I want people to be like, that motherfucker could have done no things. He could have just been a fucking ball coach. That brilliant motherfucker could have just sat on his fucking throne and done not a goddamn thing, and instead he said, "Fuck the king." We don't have those here. And the only way we're gonna move past this spot we're in is the workers unite, the union members unite, the common people, you and I, that are not wealthy, and that is 99% of us. And your job is, what's funny is when we were kids and we were all religious, y'all had no problem going door to door to spread the gospel. But now that I've sat in front of you for 9 fucking months and told you I'm pro equality, that means I don't hate people when I first meet them. I'm pro union. And if you wonder why everything is so corrupt right now, 70 years ago started the decline in union membership in the United States. And what happened? Companies started union busting. They started having union leaders fucking unalived and shit. They turned the hose on their people. We already talked about that, Robin. Exactly. Power won't give you a legacy. No. So, from my perspective, like being a great football coach is not a legacy, right? Nicole Collier. I'll ask. I'll dig. She's a beautiful black woman. Oh, you had a question about her as like what? Like a politician? Small business owner, trial lawyer, 96, graduate of University of Houston, H-Town, stand up. Graduated from Texas A&M School of Law. Won her second term. Jesus fucking Christ. She dog walked her opponent in 2014, 75 to 25. She won her fourth legislative term in 2018 by again dog walking her opponent. 76-24. These are insane shits. Um, and then on August 2025, she was held within the Texas state capitol and barred from leaving due to a quorum dispute over redistricting, which she and others claimed to be gerrymandering. And it also was illegal confinement. She's gonna sue the fuck out of these people and win. For the record, you can't confine someone. That is illegal. Confinement is a crime. Yeah. So pretty much, communism is a fallacy. Communism just exists. It just exists. I'm going to read the definition. Communism is a political and economic system aiming to create a classless, stateless society through common ownership of the means of production and equitable distribution of resources. In theory, this entails the elimination of private property, leading to a society where wealth is shared based on need, while the ideal is voluntary self governance and equality. Historical implementations have often resulted in authoritarian states dominated by one party rule and state controlled economies. And again, I'd said, if you like communism, man, you're going to love it when the Republican Party fucks up and falls the fuck apart and Democrats run this country for the next until we all die. Um, and that's called uniparty, and that's called communism, and that's called more of the fucking same. Okay, an inability of the middle of the road political people to hold people that are criminal on the right accountable. Again, that's what we're headed for. Is the people that fuck this country up, they don't pay any consequences, and instead they just lose power. And instead, the Democrats just run the country. And it's like, man, you know what I would rather do? as a socialist, I would rather have every Democrat from now on have to run against a socialist. Someone that doesn't take money from AI PAC or Russia, someone who does not ascribe to capitalism, somebody who's not going to stand up there and lie to the American people. They're just going to stand up there and say, this piece of shit capes for billionaires. I want everyone to have health care. This fucking argument's over. Do you understand? That's what it would be like arguing with a fascist, right? That person wants to put people that don't look like them in fucking prison and turn them into slave labor, and that includes the people that don't agree with them. I'm a socialist. I think everybody should just get $500 from the Gov every Friday. Thanks for playing. Oh, that wins like 90% of the time. 90 plus percent of the time, people are going to go, wait, 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 whoa, 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 whoa. That guy said we should get $500 every Friday just for being here. Yup. Like, you could do whatever the fuck you want with that? Yeah. So, not SNAP, not food stamps. I think we should get rid of food stamps. I think we should just give everybody $500 every Friday and say, keep your fucking lights on. And I don't think that that should be your income now. I think that you should try to get to a point in your life where you don't need that. I make more money than anyone I know, and $500 every Friday would still kind of help. Think about that. That tells you that there's no amount of money that you can make that you can't spend. You can fucking get there. Been going a little long today. But yeah, the major problem that I have with communism that people don't talk about is that there's socialism and communism falls under the umbrella of socialism. The problem is when you look at the implementation of communism, like how do we get to a classless, stateless society? Uh, it has been historically as a result of a violent overthrowing of the government. And what I would suggest, again, as somebody who's trained in violence, it's kind of my fucking thing. You don't want that because absolute power corrupts absolutely. You want to get authoritarian? That's how you get authoritarian is have someone militarily, take over power of the country. Yeah. Now, people are going to say, well, Jared, this is a coup. And it's like, no, no. They cheated in a fucking election to get into power. That will come out in the wash. Hmm. Yeah, someone like Hitler. Hmm. Yep. Oh, and by the way, somebody said the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life the other day. And this, you know how I know it was dumb? Because we've been on here way longer than we normally are, so that I could bring it up at the end. I was talking to someone that said the Nazis were socialist. And I just want to point out, not only is it not true, not only is that not true, it couldn't be farther from the truth. The Nazism is a far right ideology. And remember, the political spectrum is not a fucking circle. This means things at the opposite end of the political spectrum, they don't meet at the end. They're on opposite ends of the spectrum. Nazism is a far right ideology. The whole tool is racism, and the goal is a white ethno state. That's Nazism. Socialism is on the opposite fucking end of the political spectrum. And remember, I sit here every day and I'm like, I'm a socialist. I'm a college educated homeowner veteran living in Indianapolis, Indiana. I'm a real boy. And I'm sitting here telling you like I'm a fucking socialist. I want everyone to have health care. I don't want you to continue to pay for that. I don't want it to not work, right? I want your health care to actually work. That's like a big deal to me. I worked in health care. Okay. I recognize that most of the people I talk to pay way too much in rent, and as a result, want to get rid of rent. I want everybody to be guaranteed housing. And people are like, "Oh my God, how the fuck do you do?" I don't. By whoever has it, gives it away. That's how the fuck you get that. People are like, how do you get everybody off the street and homelessness? By putting them in a house. Do you have other questions? Because this is starting to get stupid. And if you ask most people, are you educated enough? Do you make enough money? They're not educated enough and they don't make enough money. And I think that if we just took student loans out of the way, right? Everybody that ever had one, if you paid off your student loans, you get your money back, and if you're in the middle of paying them off, fuck them, they don't exist, and if you're in the future, you don't have to worry about that anymore. And how do I know that that's already going to happen? Whether we achieve socialism or not, the most prestigious education in the world is free. Harvard, MIT, the University of Texas, UVA, the University of Virginia, all offer free education. You have no fucking excuses. And it's my job, it's my what I've taken on for the rest of my life to champion universal health care, education, income, and housing because I got it. But in order to get it, man, I had to lose almost fucking everything, including my right arm. I still cannot basically use my right arm. 6 days from 20 years since I joined the Marine Corps. hmm I think about that all the time. What did it cost? So that, man, I don't have the weight of my mortgage on my shoulders. Man, I don't have the weight of healthcare on my shoulders. It's cost to me, and its likelihood of failing me. I don't have to think about that because I'm a disabled veteran. hmm And I just get free. And again, the older I get, I'm like, man, I just think everybody should have free healthcare, and I don't think I'm special. How about that for crazy? And there are so many veterans that are like, fuck you, man. You know, we went through what we went through to get what we got. Fuck you. You're gonna die and have accomplished no things except making sure that you kept what you got for yourself. And being selfish is like one of the least likable qualities about another human being is watching someone be selfish. hmm A lot of people want a lot of things to stay the same, and they just want some things to change, and that's what I like. Is I got it tattooed on me to embrace change and take chances, and I also understand that people struggle with those things, right? So I want to continue to remind people under socialism, it's not like your life gets worse. Your rent might go down. Your cost for healthcare might go down. When you go to college, there's not a big expense. And hey, if we achieve socialism, you get 500 bucks every Friday. Like none of that sounds like a bad outcome. But what it sounds like, you might have the ability to save money now. You might not need to get credit cards. You might not need to get a loan. You, you might not have to plan for some crazy healthcare event. Maybe you could just save for retirement. My job, my thought process is I don't want to be the only one that isn't on their fucking deathbed when I retire, right? I want to go to the nursing home and get dapped up all day, every day. What the fuck is up? What the fuck is up? All these people's lives were fucking way different because I didn't have to pay all that money for healthcare, and I didn't have to pay all that money for my education. I didn't have to pay all that money for housing, and I was actually able to retire, right? Because right now, even making the money I make, I'm never going to be able to retire. And I'm making none of your fucking business for $50,000 in the last 3 months. That's how much money we've made as a household. And because of the rise in the cost of goods, that's not a lot of money. And that's a lot of money. So anyway, I gotta go feed the dogs.